Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Some energy, dang. Hope that you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming. Before we get started, just a couple things. We are bringing more plates, so they will be coming in shortly. If, in case that you need to go to the bathroom, the women's bathroom is to your right, and then to the left is the men's bathroom, and we also have a gender-neutral bathroom outside in the lobby. And so just in case if you wanted to do that, feel free to walk around and be able to grab food and drinks as you please. Thank you so much for coming to Buffalo State University's marquee Black History Month event, Worthy, a holistic mental health for Black students. I am Dr. Sway. I use he, him, el, doctor pronouns. I am the interim director of student leadership and engagement. And to my left, I have.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tiffany Bromfield. I use she, her, sis pronouns, and I currently serve as the Associate Director for Residence Life here at Buffalo State.
Before we begin with our program, we want to take some time to do our land acknowledgement. Um, so, Buffalo State University would like to start by acknowledging that the campus is situated within the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, including the Seneca, Tuscarora, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Mohawk nations, and of their indigenous relations and neighbors, the Erie and the Wenro. We hope to demonstrate respect for the treaties that were made on these territories, and we pledge to work toward partnership with a spirit of collaboration with our current indigenous neighbors, the Seneca and the Tuscarora.
Okay, fantastic. Again, good afternoon, everyone. So one of the things that we have started to do before the beginning of all our programs is, in addition to a land acknowledgement, also doing a labor acknowledgement. So for folks who are unfamiliar with this acknowledgement, it essentially is an opportunity to make space and give time to the ancestors who have built this country, primarily Black and brown folks. And it's one of the things that we've implemented in all of our large scale programs moving forward. So it is as follows. We must acknowledge that much of what we know of this country today, including its culture, economic growth, and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horrors of the transatlantic trafficking of their people, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice, and we must acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and the resulting impact that can still be felt and witnessed today. First, I want to say Happy Black History Month. Thank y'all for coming. And I would like to introduce our Dean of Students, Elizabeth Chang Bush.
Good afternoon, folks. Can you hear me? No? All right, we're going to go back to the handheld then. Again, my name is Elizabeth Ching Bush, or ECB. I go by she, her, hers pronouns, and I get the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today. So, y'all ready? Wow. There's some juice over there if y'all need some. So, um, but I'm ready, so I'm excited to introduce our guest speaker. So, Nate Evans Jr. is first a devoted husband and father. He is an international speaker, mental health advocate, and the founder and CEO of the Nathan Evans Jr. Group LLC and the Get to Worthy Summit. Nate is a mentee of the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas, and the pioneer of occupational integrity, Jeremy Anderson. He currently resides in New Jersey and uses his life experiences to cultivate the minds of young adults across the globe. In addition to his professional endeavors, Nate also supports his local community as a young mentor for several schools in Atlantic County, New Jersey. Nate is on a mission to eradicate the stigmas around mental health and teach the necessity for resilience through his keynote presentations, interactive workshops, books, social media content, and podcasts. His inspiring testimony establishes an authentic bond with a range of audiences, educating them on the importance of self worth and resilience. Nate is a first generation high school graduate, first generation college graduate, and best selling author of I Love You Letters of Love from Black Men to Black Boys. He has spoken on global platforms such as TEDx and has shared stages with the likes of Damon John. He also has a Master of Science in Pastoral Care and Counseling and holds a certification in Adverse Childhood Experiences, Early Trauma, and Mental Health First Aid. Nate was a sponsored member of the T-Mobile Magenta Edge Small Business Program, a top 4 under 40 distinguished alumni of Cape Community College, as well as a recipient of the 2023 Alumni of the Year for Atlantic Cape Community College and a member of the 30 under 35 top young African American leaders in South Jersey. That was a lot. And I'm really excited to bring Nate Evans Jr. to the stage. Come on.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can y'all hear me on here? Y'all can hear me good? Y'all flooded in here quick. It wasn't nobody 5 minutes ago. I got in here quickly. Thank you so much for that intro. Um, so first and foremost, as she mentioned, my name is Nate. I'm honored to be here, grateful to be here, especially during Black History Month. Um, Extremely grateful to who I know as Dr. Sway. Can y'all show him some love? And really, really grateful again for this opportunity to speak to you about such a serious subject matter. My hope is that during this time that I would challenge you in a few different ways during our short time. I don't have a long time typically when I'm doing presentations or workshops or anything like that. It's usually like 2 hours or several sessions. So I'm on a time frame, so I need y'all to stick with me. I know you eating, I know you drinking, but if y'all can give me just undivided attention for the next like 35 minutes. If we can do that, let me get a thumbs up for the next 35. Not everybody. Y'all not gonna give me the. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure before I waste my time. Um, no, on a serious note, before we dive into this, everybody, I want to take a quick moment, a really quick moment, to acknowledge those of you in the room who are at this moment struggling with anxiety, depression. You feel like you're being misused, mistreated, disrespected, overlooked. I want to take a moment to acknowledge you because I remember what it was like when I was in your position. I would never dare to say in your shoes because I don't know what it is to be you. But when I was in your position, when I was a college student at that time, late teens, going into my 20s, I know what I was going through. In fact, just to really paint a picture for y'all, just 2 years ago, I found myself at my house, stressed out, depressed, and then seeking to get on depression medication. Now, here's the thing. I've been a professional, a business owner for several years now. And I found myself 2 years ago, shortly after my son was born, who's 2 years old now, dealing with what I now know is postnatal depression. As a black man, I had no idea what that was because the people who I grew up around, they didn't talk about what? Mental health. I had no idea that other men were going through this, other young fathers. Had no idea until one day we home. My son's about 6 weeks old at this time, and I realize I'm feeling disconnected. I'm like, man, what's up with me? Now, I've always made it up in my mind because of my estranged relationship with my dad that I'm going to be a better father than he was. That was my thing. I'm going to be the best father I can be. I'm going to show up and all of these different things. I'm going to love my son. I'm going to kiss all over him. I'm going to tell him how much I love him. And I found myself feeling disconnected from my child. And it was crazy, this feeling. So I talked to my therapist. She said, Nate, this is normal. She said, more men go through this than you actually can understand. Most of them just don't speak about it. So during that time, I found myself and I had to humble myself. I had to let go of my ego, let go of my pride. And I was on medication for several months. Here's the crazy thing. I'm still traveling the country speaking. And guess what I'm speaking about? Mental health. And I had to let go of my pride as a black man in America and allow myself to be present and get the help that I needed in that moment. I'm no longer on it, but during that season of what I needed, I had to focus on me. So when I'm up here speaking, when y'all listening to this, I'm not here, one, to motivate you because I don't even know you like that. I didn't fly all the way here, leave my pregnant wife, my 2-year-old son to come here and try to be like, I'm gonna just inspire you. I'm gonna try to rah you. It's like, no, I'm gonna keep it real with you on what this looks like. And I know that each and every one of you in this space, you can be resilient. Is it challenging? Absolutely. Is it unfortunate? Absolutely. But I promise you, with resilience and the right tools, you can get to the other side of this thing. I'm living proof, literally living proof. But we have to do the work. So before we dive into this really quickly, I need 4 people, just really quick, 4 people. And now, don't everybody come all at once. I just need 4 people. I need 4. Uh, Let me get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come quick, 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 quick. Both of y'all, quick, quick, quick. And we don't have all day. Quick, quick. Line across front, line across front, line across front. All right, so really quick. Y'all can see them, right? All right. So what's going to happen is this. For these 5 individuals, and I need y'all to listen. I need you to listen. I need you to listen because we don't have a lot of time. I'm going to ask them one question. I'm going to ask them this question twice. And what I want you to hear is how they respond to the question, right? One question, I'm going to ask it twice. Listen to how they respond. I'm going to know if you're listening because I'm going to ask you what they said. Y'all can do that? Cool, cool, cool. Now, there's a little caveat. Shout out to Dr. Sway for hooking me up. All right. I'm going to ask you your first name, and I'm going to ask you one question, all right? That's fair? What's your first name? Orion. Say, what's up, Orion? They like Orion. All right, really quick, Orion. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Yourself. That was creative. First name? Aaliyah. Say, hey, Aaliyah. All right, really quick, Aaliyah. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Black educated. Come on, somebody. She said, period. All right. First name? Dominique. Dominique. Say, hey, Dominique. All right, Dominique. What do you see when you look in the mirror? A gorgeous girl. Ow. Ew. First name? Adrian. Say, hey, Adrian. All right. What do you see when you look in the mirror? A black queen. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Last but not least, first name? Anaya. Say, hey, Anaya. All right. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Some fine shit. Okay, some fine stuff. Some fine stuff. All right. Y'all heard them responses, right? All right, cool, cool, cool. Now, here's the caveat. I'm coming back. I'm asking y'all the same question again. You can't give me the same answer. And you gotta be quick. Got it? All right. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Spider-Man. What do you see when you look in the mirror?
A black college educated woman.
Come on. I love it. I love it. What do you see when you look in the mirror?
A strong woman.
A strong woman. Wait, did you say that last time?
No,
I said beautiful. Okay, my fault. My fault. My bad. Jack. Okay, pump that brakes. All right. What do you see when you look in the mirror?
A Caribbean woman who has faced adversity.
Come on. Last but not least, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Ooh, y'all, this is deep group. I got the deep people. All right, can y'all clap it up for them? Y'all can head back to your seats. Now, we heard all of those different responses. We heard what they said, gorgeous, God, Black Caribbean, all of these different things. Now, I want to explain in a brief moment why I decided to do that exercise and then the power behind it. It's super, super important what I'm about to share. So I need you again to listen in. If you got something to take notes, pull that out too. Hopefully it's not your phone. But if it is, I ain't tripping. Because for the sake of time, we're going to make it work, right? That's super, super important. So there is what I like to call, there's 4 lenses of insecurity, right? Now, what happens is I do this exercise essentially when I'm working with college students and a little bit of corporate as well, depending on what the subject matter is. But what happens is this. When I tell most people, I say, hey, look, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Now, I got the philosophical group today. They was super, super deep. But the typical response from most people is the first thing they do when I say, "What do you see when you look in the mirror?" They either look away, they look up, or they look at me. The second thing I see is people's bodies tense up. And the reason being is it's so difficult sometimes for us to see the things that we love about ourselves because of our warped reality of who we are based on our traumas, based on our experiences, based on the things we've been through. And there's four lenses, and I need y'all to write these down, that most people, especially in this room, most people see themselves through one of four of these lenses. Some people see it through all four. Pull something out really quick. I'm gonna go right to it. Those four lenses are simply this: worthlessness, abandonment, rejection, and abuse. Write them down: worthlessness, abandonment, rejection, and abuse. These are the four lenses most people you know, maybe even including you, see themselves through. See, what I'm here to do today, I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I want to challenge the way that you think and the way that you see yourself. Because here's the thing: resilience is a choice, adversity is not, especially for Black students. You don't have an option. So, what do you have to do? You have to find a way to build resilience. It's so interesting because when I was a kid, some years ago, how old do I look? Say something crazy. Wow. Okay. 32. What else? No, nobody put me under 30. No. I'm done with the 20s. Wow. That's crazy. It's the creases. It's the creases. Once you get over 30, you start creasing your pants. You know what I'm talking about. So y'all are around the ballpark. I'm gonna leave that alone. But it's interesting because when I was a kid, I had such a vast imagination, as most of us do. Your imagination was colorful, it was beautiful, it was vibrant, it was all of these different things. But what happened is life happened, experiences happened, and now that same imagination that used to serve you, that you used to love. I know when I was growing up, we used to play games like freeze tag and all types of stuff. We didn't need much. Y'all know what it is, freeze tag. We used to do all types of stuff because of our imagination. We got older, life happened. That same imagination now keeps you up at night with anxiety. That same thing is now harming you because you're not being intentional about developing it. It's extremely, extremely important, especially when you're in a setting like this, a college environment, that you start to work on managing your imagination and what you focus on. You ever hear where your focus goes, your energy flows? It's a cliche, but it's a fact. The more you focus on the things that you don't want to happen, the things that you're experiencing, the adversities that you're going through, the more stressed and the more intense you become. And for me, when it came to these four lenses, the strongest one for me was the top one: worthlessness. I had all four, but that was the strongest one. Because for a long time, I felt worthless. I'm talking all the way up until early 20s. I felt very worthless. I was 18 years old and I just had graduated high school. So I'm a first generation high school and college graduate. How many of you are first generation coming into college, first gen students? Shout out to y'all. Hey, in the back. So I'm a first generation high school and college graduate, which sounds incredible. But when I explain it, it's going to make a little more sense on how challenging it really was. First one to graduate, and I got a full ride scholarship to play basketball in Memphis, Tennessee. And it was incredible. You know, everybody excited. You're the first one to do it. Nate's the one in the family to break all of these curses and yada, yada, yada. But it was so much additional pressure that I placed on myself on top of the issues that were already out there that were coming up against me. Fast forward, I'm living with my grandfather. How many of you have your grandparents still in your life? Blessed to still have your grandmom, grandfather. It's a blessing for real. And grandparents are like way better than regular parents. Way better. But my pop-up, that's what I called my grandfather. I called him pop-up. And I was living with him this summer where I was prepping to go to college because he lived close to the basketball courts. Now I got a full ride scholarship to play basketball. He's living close to the basketball courts. Now I'm the type of person, I'm competitive. So if I'm going to do something, I want to be the best at it. I'm coming in as a freshman in college. I said, yeah, I'm not trying to sit the bench. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna train so hard that they have to put me in the starting lineup. So I'm doing 2 a days, I'm doing 3 a days, I'm doing everything I can do to make sure I start. I come home one day from playing basketball, and my grandfather that I just told y'all about, that I call Pop Up, I see him sitting on the couch, and he's holding his stomach in a lot of pain. And I'm like, all right, that's weird. Because my grandfather, I don't know about yours or your dad's or your uncles, but my man was like Mr. Fix It. When the casinos made him retire, he literally be at home, y'all. He be breaking stuff so he can fix it again. He was like that type of handyman. So to see him sitting on the couch holding his stomach in pain, it kind of threw me off a little bit. It didn't alarm me, but I was like, yo, something's not right. So I went to my younger brother, who's 4 years younger than me. He was at the house. I said, Josh, how long has Papa been sitting like this? He said he's been like this since you left this morning. I was like, for real? I said, all right, now I'm starting to panic. I said, here's what we got to do. We got to take him to the hospital. Now, again, I can't speak for your dads, your uncles, or your grandfathers, but mine's old black man from the South, he don't do hospitals. He'd rather his arm fall off. He don't care about none of that. I said, look, it's only us here. He's the only adult. I'm the next one in line. We got to take him to the hospital. So he said, what's the plan? I said, come in the back room. We go in the back room. I said, all right, here's the game plan. I said, we're going to go back out there. We're going to count down. I'm going to count you down. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. We just want to grab my man. You feel me? We just want to grab him. We're going to grab him, put him in the van. I just got my driver's license. I said, we're going to grab him, put him in the van, and we're going to shoot to the hospital. My brother was like, that's a stupid plan. I was like, it's the only plan we got. So we go out there. Now, picture this, everybody. Picture this. It's me, my grandfather, and then my brother's on the other side of the couch. I'm looking at him. I'm like, you ready? He's like, nah, nah. I said, tighten up. I said, 3. My brother's still looking at me like, I said, 3, 2, 1. And we literally just mauled my grandpa. Like I grabbed him by the legs. My brother had him all about the back of his neck. And we literally picked my man up, carried him outside. He had this Astro van. We put him in the Astro van with the pilot seats. I ran in the house, got the insurance cards, got the keys, and we gone. Now, I told you I just got my license. So I wasn't the best driver. I might have ran a light or two, but I did get us there safely. That's all that matters. We got there. We get to the emergency room. We take him in the back. The doctors come in. Hey, what's going on? We get the information. Cool. My anxiety's starting to ease now. About an hour goes by. By this time, we've already made phone calls. We got family members coming in and things like that. My dad gets there, my aunts. The doctor comes from the back. He says, is this Robert's family? Now, Robert is my grandfather's first name. He said, I have some challenging news to share with you. He was like, okay. All right. He says, Robert has what is known as intestinal gangrene. Now, again, I'm naive and I didn't pay attention in school when it came to science. So I'm like, what is gangrene? I'm like, all right, doc, how do we get him back home? I'm like, is there antibiotics? Like, what do we do to get my papa back to the house? Like, what's the game plan? He looked at me and said, nah, you don't understand. See, what Robert has is a bacterial infection and it's eating away at his intestines. Hence why he was holding his stomach in a lot of pain. He said, there's nothing we can do to stop it or really even slow it down. It's too progressive. He said, you may want to say your goodbyes because Robert probably won't make it to the morning. And the last time I would see my grandfather, he would have tubes in his nose, another tube in his mouth. His eyes were glassy yellow and he looked so afraid because he couldn't say a word. And the last time I would see him alive would be in that hospital. Shortly after that, we had the funeral. I went to school 2 weeks late. First time I've ever taken a plane in my life. Kid from the hood down in South Jersey. First plane I've ever taken in my life. And at this point, what I'm realizing is something inside of me feel like it's about to break. Imagine I had a soda bottle in my hand, a soda can, and I shook it before I opened it. What would happen? It explode, right? That's literally how I felt when I lost my grandfather. I felt like up until that point, life had been shaking me, shaking me, shaking me since childhood, all the way up to losing him. And now I got to go out into the world and I got to go off to college because this is the thing that we do to be successful, right? Sent me out there. But what you don't realize is I'm a kid from South Jersey. I went to 9 different schools from first grade to high school. During that time was exposed to gangs like most of us, drugs like most of us, violence like most of us, and trigger warning was also molested at a very young age, which warped the way that I even seen the world and the women around me. So I'm carrying all of this trauma through all of those years, and my only outlet is sports. It's the only thing I know what to run to because I seen what drugs did to my family. I seen what alcohol did to my family. I seen all of those things. I said, I don't want that. I'm gonna stay away from that. But I need an outlet. Most of us don't even have an outlet, or we don't feel like we do, but you do here. At that time, at that age, I didn't have one. So I bottled up everything I had, put it into sports, and I got really good at sports, really good at basketball. The issue was this: what happens when you can no longer run to your scapegoat no more? What happens? Are you going to speak up and say something? Are you going to address the emotions, the issues? Or are you going to continue to suppress them? Because at some point, it's going to come up. But I didn't understand that at a young age, so I just continued to play basketball. That's what it was. Landed me a scholarship, right? Everything was good until it wasn't. I get down to campus, first night on campus, I'm a freshman. They room me with the senior. Now, y'all are in college, y'all know that ain't that ain't the vibe. You already know. You was never going to the apartments. Like it wasn't happening. But they run me with a senior. I went to school 2 weeks late. First plane I've ever taken in my life. I was so afraid, y'all, on that plane because I never took a plane. I'm 18 years old. I'm on the plane. The lady next to me, she can tell that I'm nervous. She's like, baby, just chew some gum. I put 5 pieces of gum in my mouth. I was over there. I was so nervous, y'all. I got down to Memphis, Tennessee. First night on campus, they run me with my boy Rashad. He takes me to a spot called Bill Street. Now, if you ever been to Memphis, Tennessee, you'll know Bill Street, you got to be 21 or older to get on Bill Street. I was 18 going on 19 at the time in December. I'm down there, first night on campus, y'all. He takes me to Bill Street. He knows the DJ. He sneaks me on. We out there drinking, partying, smoking. And I'm doing all of this stuff that's so far out of my character, but I'm trying to suppress the pain. I'm trying to find a way to cope with what I'm going through mentally and emotionally because now basketball isn't even enough. And I don't feel safe to speak up and speak to anybody. 3 months into school, I'm going through so many episodes: severe depression, severe anxiety, severe stress. All of the burdens coming into college, trying to figure it out on your own as a first gen student, on top of all of the other systemic challenges that you have to deal with, and then trying to process it with no level of emotional fluency, emotional resilience. I don't understand anything. 3 months in, I go to my head coach and say, Coach, can I talk to you? He said, yeah, Nate, come to my office. We go to his office. I get in there and he says, what's on your mind? I said, Coach, I need to leave. He said, huh? I said, I, I need to leave. See, what he didn't know was that every night, severe depression, every other day, anxiety attacks. He had no idea. I barely even knew. But he allowed me to leave the school. Came back home, forfeited my entire scholarship, dealing with mental health issues. Came home, I worked a little bit, helped my mom out, did all of these different things. I ended up getting another full ride scholarship. I played in a basketball tournament in North Jersey called the EKB. Got another full ride scholarship. Because I was really like that. I just want to let y'all know I was like really one of them. Like, don't let the hype fool you. I was like really one of those dudes. Like, all of that, all of that. So I got another full ride scholarship, this time to go all the way to New Mexico. I was in New Mexico playing at a Division I junior college. However, I was only there for 1 year. And do you want to know why? What I didn't understand at the time was that everywhere you go, there you are. So the same person, the same way I felt when I was in Memphis, Tennessee, the same way I felt when I was in New Mexico. But again, I'm young. I'm 18, 19, trying to figure it out. I'm your age. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to navigate this thing, but I'm not speaking up and getting the help. I'm not letting it be known. I'm not taking charge of my mental health. So I ended up in total bouncing around to 5 different colleges. Not because I wasn't smart, not because I wasn't athletic, not because the resources weren't there. I simply thought that I could outrun myself. That was it. I said, you know what? If I keep running, I'll be good. If I keep blaming somebody else, I'll be good. If I keep not speaking up, I'll be good. And I continued to put the blame elsewhere. And it wasn't until the game of basketball was taken away from me. Ended up getting injured playing back at home, tore a bunch of ligaments in my ankle, had to be in the boot. First time in my life. First time in my life I sat with my thoughts. Let me ask you, when's the last time you thought about what you were thinking about? Or do you just let your thoughts run rampant? It's nasty outside, so my thoughts nasty. Oh, I had to go through this thing. Oh, so this challenge and this thing. When do we start to take control? Because if we don't start to take control, everything else is going to be out of control. It's already an uphill battle for each and every one of us. We don't get the luxury or the opportunity to not prioritize our mental health, whatever it takes. And I got to a point in that decision where I said, you know what? Whatever it takes, I'm willing to do it. I'm not blaming my mom no more. I'm not blaming my circumstances no more. I'm not blaming my friends anymore. I have to look myself in the mirror and love who I see. And right now I don't. So whatever it took in those moments, I was willing to do it. And for me, it was two drastic decisions I had to make. Now, because of my background and my faith, one of those things was me getting baptized. That was a huge thing for me. The second thing was, yo, I need to start looking for a therapist. Because where I grew up, therapy wasn't a thing. There was no conversation around it. It was like, yo, I'm cool, I'm good, until you're not, until you snap, until you end up in the hospital, or until you hurt somebody else, or until you hurt yourself. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna start looking for a therapist. And I'll be honest, it was scary. That first session on the couch, bruh, I walked in there. Hey, how you doing? I went in there, I sat down. I looked at her, she looked at me. I said, in my brain, I was thinking she was supposed to fix me. I wasn't broken. I just needed someone to help guide me. It took me 3 therapists to figure that out. I'm on my last one now, or maybe my last one, but she's been incredible for the last few years. But I'm saying that to say, what are the things you need to do for you? You know what was powerful about me starting to take care of my own mental health and well-being? Like holistically, I realized how it impacted the people around me. Because here's the thing, my dad started going to therapy, my mom, my brother, some of my friends. And this isn't about therapy, but this is to understand that your life is bigger than you. So if you don't take care of yourself, you're actually being selfish. And I learned that the hard way, the long way. I'm trying to save y'all some time. I would love to go back to freshman year and do that all over again and do it differently. Or maybe not, because I want to have these lessons right here. So ask yourself, what are the things you need to do for you? How can you prioritize your mental health? And I want to give y'all really quickly just 4 quick tools, if that's cool with you. That cool? Y'all still with me? Y'all still rocking with me? All right, cool. Because the interesting part is when I'm traveling, everybody thinks that where I'm at now is where I've always been. And that's just not a fact. I go through it just like the next person. But I wake up every day, even this morning, staying in the very interesting hotel across the street. Yeah, not facts. It was crazy. I'm on the phone with my wife, like, look at the ceilings in here. Like I was tripping. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pray. Cause I don't know what's about to happen up in here. They said this is a psych ward in this joint. But on a serious note, y'all, I want you to all seriously think to yourself, how can you start to improve your mental health? One of the corniest things you can do is just try to be cool and fit in. You have to focus on you. Now, these resources are really quick. I want you to write them down. And it's something that I came up with over time through research and application. I typically share it with most like corporate groups and things like that. But I want to share it with you as well because I believe it's a resource you can keep in your back pocket. Oh, also, I have a little bonus for you at the end of this where you can scan it and get it and keep it as a PDF for yourself. It's free. You ain't got to pay for it. I got you. But I need you to take these 4 resources. And what it is I call it the 4 phases of stewarding your mind and emotions. Again, what did I tell y'all earlier? You let your imagination run wild, everything else is going to go crazy. The reason people stress so much, and you want to know why? Because you focus on negative outcomes all the time. Think about it. When's the last time you thought something negative about yourself or somebody else and then did something positive at the same time? Never. You ain't got to answer for me. But if you want to ease your anxiety, ease your stress, build some resilience to deal with what you're going to have to deal with, this right here, you have to take care of it. So what it looks like is this: is 4 phases of clarity, freedom, worthy, and celebrate. I'll explain each one. Clarity. The first one is this: get very clear on how you feel, Get very clear on the circumstances or the situations that made you feel away, that made you feel stressed, that made you feel tense. Get very clear. You have to have clarity on whatever it is you're facing. Whatever the adversity is, whatever the thing you coming up again, whatever the beef is with your friend, whatever the thing is at home that's stressing you, get clear on what it is. You need to know what it is. The next step is this: freedom. What does freedom look like? Freedom looks like finding out, one, what are the things that are triggers for you? I'm not talking about that annoy you. I'm talking about that trigger you. What's the difference? If you annoy me, all right, cool, you annoy me, whatever. I can turn back from it. I might feel a little bit emotional. But if it's a trigger, now my body tenses up. And I'll give you an example. Growing up, bouncing around from house to house, there was a period where we lived with my grandmother. My grandmom Sally, she passed away a few years from, she had Alzheimer's. And in that house was me, my mom. I slept on the floor. My mom slept on the bed. My uncle slept in the other room. My grandma was in the other room, my great grandmother. My uncle, he's 6'6", at the time, maybe 250, solid muscle, huge hands. Guy was a giant, and he had a Jerry curl, which is crazy. But what he would do is he was the nicest guy you would ever meet. But on the weekends, he would go out and get blacked out drunk. Talking blacked out drunk. He would come in. Now I'm 5'11". He would come in and literally punch holes in the walls, kick doors open. And at times he would try to grab my mom. Now, at the time I'm 7, 8 years old. He would grab her, try to grab her by her neck, try to slam her, all of these different things because he's blacked out drunk. Those memories never left me. In fact, those are core memories. My body remembers all of that. So I'm a teenager now. I'm in college now. I'm getting a little older now. I'm in my 20s now. And I'm wondering why every time I hear a loud bang, my body tenses up. Because I'm on guard. I'm realizing like, yo, Nate, something's not right. Why every time you hear a loud boom, you lock up. You stop talking, you stop whatever, you focus on that. It's because that was a trigger for me. And I had to get clear on what that was so I can actually address it. It looks different for everybody. And I have a bunch of scenarios like that. So what does it look like for you? Write that last thing down. Now, the next step is this: worthy. What do you mean worthy, Nate? Realize this. As Black students, your feelings and emotions are valid. I grew up in a household where you had to suck it up for everything. You couldn't cry, you couldn't show emotions, not even realizing like, oh, wow, my emotions are valid. It doesn't mean that what I do from them is necessarily valid, but they're valid. And you need to recognize you as a human being, that your emotions, the way you feel, the things you're going through is valid, man. Especially for my fellas in the room. That stuff you feeling, that's valid. You have to affirm yourself and validate yourself and respect yourself enough to know, be like, okay, yo, it's okay that I feel this way. It's not okay that I stay this way, but it's okay if I feel this way. And then the last step is this: celebrate. What does celebrate look like? Every little step that you make forward and your progress for your mental health, celebrate yourself. What does that look like? For me, not allowing myself to be triggered by every single loud noise and bang was a win. Allowing myself to process before I talk back to someone was a win. Allowing myself, when I got flustered and frustrated or agitated, or I felt anxiety build up, and I would stop and I would breathe for 7 seconds, which is a minute. That's a win. But these are all of the things that I have to do for myself over and over and over and over again to build up that resilience. Because I said what earlier? Resilience is a choice. Adversity is what? It's not. I really wish that I can get up here and say, yo, it's all going to work out. It's all going to be great. It's set up for you to win. I wish I could say those things. I really do. But I want to challenge you. I need you to understand that that's not the way it's set up. If you don't prioritize your mental health, it will fail you. It will. I know too many men and women in my life who are severely struggling because they ignore their mental health. Because it's the thing you can't see until something happens. They'd rather just spend it on cars, clothes, kicks, all of that stuff. And I love some nice stuff. Don't get me twisted. I love some nice stuff. But this up here is the most valuable thing you have. So again, how are you going to prioritize that for yourself today? That look like cutting off a relationship, setting up boundaries, talking to a counselor, journaling, going for a walk, playing. What does it look like for you? You need to start implementing things today. Today. After COVID hit, on the back end of it, the research showed the suicide rates amongst students, amongst college students, skyrocketed. It was already pretty high. I remember once going to a college, I won't name the name of the college, but they called me in to come speak and do this mental health conference. They had lost 8 students in a semester. And I'm not saying they dropped out, I'm saying they took their own lives. So this is serious, y'all. I literally have 4 men, I could show you on my phone this morning, just text me this morning, 4 black men that I know from around the area who's going through mental health challenges right now, this morning. It's that serious. So while you're in this controlled environment where you have resources and access to counselors and access to people who love you over there, people who you can talk to, use it. Don't wait until this is all done and then you're stressed out and then you by yourself and then you lose hope, because once you lost hope, game over. It's game over. Y'all are way too smart and too resilient to allow that to happen. Don't be too cool to prioritize your mental health. And I'm gonna land the plane here because I know we're very short on time today. I had this thought. Most people don't want to heal. They just don't want to look like they're hurting. What do you mean by that, Nate? Explain that to me. Most people in any given room that are going through something, they don't really want to heal because of the work that it takes. I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's work. It's a daily work. For me, it's a daily work. I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. and got to work because I know how easy it is to snap back into the depression that I was just in 2 years ago. I know how easy it is to be in a panic attack and end up in the hospital like I was 5 years ago. I know how easy it is. There's so much going on. You can't even turn the TV on without seeing something crazy, especially about us. Look at the country we live in. Look at the things that are happening right now. That's triggering enough. On top of your daily life, the stuff you got going on at home and your neighborhood. Y'all going through situations here. You're trying to figure out financial aid, which class to take. There's so much happening. You got to prioritize you. But I realize most people, they don't want to heal. They don't want to do the work. They just don't want to look like they hurting. So I just chill out. I kick it. You know what I mean? Yo, Nate, you good? I'm good. You not. You really not. And I want to see y'all thrive. I don't want you to be that group that's out here, you just coasting by. Find somebody in the room, a real friend. How many of you got a friend in the room? Y'all don't like y'all friends? Oh, some weak up hand. Y'all got real friends in the room? Okay, cool, cool. Hands down, hands down. All right. The reason I say that is because this is the time, this is the opportunity for you to put a filter through who's really for you and who's not. When you start to express how you feel, when you start to be transparent, you're going to see who fizzles out and who stays because they love you as a person. You get to test, you get to build accountability now with your friends. My friend group, we tight, we solid. I can hit them up right now. I'm going through something. Dude just praying for me, they checking on me, all of those different things. They'll pull up on me. I can cry in these guys' arms if I needed to. And I have before. And vice versa, it was mutual. That's real friendship. You have those kind of relationships in your life. That's what you're going to need. Because healing is not done in silos, it's not done alone. We need community. So look to your left, look to your right. Is this somebody that you can actually trust with the things you're going through? If not, you might want to reevaluate that relationship. I ain't telling you to break up with your friend right now. Don't do it here. I didn't say do it. But think about it later, because that might be a thing. So again, y'all, most people don't want to heal. Listen to me. Most people don't want to heal. They just don't want to look like they're hurting. I don't believe that for this room. When I'm looking around, I'm seeing beautiful faces. I believe that you do care about your mental and emotional wellness. I believe you are going to be resilient. I believe I'm going to look up and see you doing great things with your life, stuff that you never even seen within your family, especially for my first gen students. It's going to be challenging, it's going to be difficult, but I believe those things about you because you decided to be in this space today. It's not by happenstance that you're here. You decided to be in this space today during this time. Now, here's the challenge. I believe these things about you. Dr. Sway, he believes these things about you because he brought me here. But if you don't believe it about yourself, it doesn't really matter. So my challenge for you is to start to love who you see in the mirror, start to do everything you need to do to prioritize your mental health. It's sacred. It's sacred. And realize you need to continue to be resilient every single day. Because again, resilience is a choice. Adversity is not. So that's my time, y'all. I thank you. I appreciate all of you.